opened up in our math workbooks to page 781 and 782 to correct our homework. All right, so here is 781, and on 781, you had numbers 1 through 4, 7 through 9, and 17. So for 1 through 4, you were supposed to find the points on the grid, which is the name with a capital letter, and write the ordered pair. So number 1, A, if we look for A, it is right here. And we always write the x coordinate first. So here's our x-axis, here's our y-axis. So A lines up with the 8 on the x-axis, so we write 8 first. And then it lines up with the 4 on the y-axis, so then we write 4. So you should have written parentheses, 8, 4 parentheses. If you forgot a comma or a parentheses, you would mark that incorrect. It's very important that you are including the comma and the parentheses. So if you need to correct that, I want you to do that right now for any of the coordinates here. Then for number 2, we were looking at B. So B, 1, 4, it lines up with the 1 on the x-axis and then the 4 on the y-axis. So 1, 4. For C, Jackie, open up your workbook, would be 0, 8, because C is right here. Now, it lines up with the 0 on the x-axis and then the 8 on the y-axis. And finally, D is right here, so it lines up with the 2 on the x-axis, the 1 on the y-axis. How do we feel about 1 through 4, writing the coordinates for the points? Show me 1 through 5, how we feel. All right, is there anyone who may have made a silly mistake on something, forgetting a comma or a parentheses, or writing the wrong coordinates? Okay. Then we had numbers 7 through 9. So 7 through 9 was the opposite. Oh, and 17. You were given the coordinates, and you had to write the name of the point, or of the coordinate. So 7 said 4, 3. So if we go to 4, remember that 4 is on the x-axis, and the 3 is the y-axis, 1, 2, 3, we have G. Now, 5th grade, it's very important that your coordinates are uppercase, the way they are on the coordinate grid. If you wrote lowercase letters, I want you to mark it incorrect and correct it. So if you did a lowercase g instead of an uppercase G like they have, I need you to correct it. In high school, sometimes if you're using a lot of coordinates for something, they will go through the lower or the uppercase or the capitalized alphabet first, then they will start on the lowercase. So you need to make sure that you are writing it exactly as they do. Does that make sense why we do that? Yeah, because if there was an uppercase G coordinate and a lowercase g coordinate, I would take it as the lower g coordinate if you wrote a lower g. All right, then 8, 3, 7, 3 on my x-axis, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on my y-axis, capital L. Number 9, 0, 3, 0, then up 1, 2, 3, I have M, capital M. Finally, 17, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, S, capital S. How did we feel about 7 through 9 and 17? Show me on your hand. 1 through 5, show me how you felt. How did you feel? Awesome. Frankie and Drew, show me how you felt. How did you feel? Okay. Awesome. Hands down. Nice job. All right, let's move on to 782. So we had 2 problems on 782. We had 20 and 24. Yes. So for number 20, they asked, how are the locations on a coordinate grid different for the ordered pairs 7, 0 and 0, 7? So your answer may have been a little different, but basically 7 zeros on the x-axis because you moved 0 units up because that zeros are on the y-axis. You're on the x-axis. 0, 7 is on the y-axis because you move 0 units across. So you guys, some of you came to me like, I don't get this. Well, 5th grade, in order to visualize it, you could have just gone over to our grid here and plotted those 2 points to see where they are located. So instead of trying to get me to tell you the answer, sometimes use your resources. Draw a grid, find a grid, plot the points and look at it and see, okay, how can I describe where they are at on the grid? Addie. So if this was a test, I would want you to explain more. For your homework, it works. But on a test, I'd want you to tell me, okay, what do you mean? Like, what does that 0 tell us? Okay? Okay. So on homework, if you just wrote the coordinates and labeled them as X and Y and X, that's fine. On a test, I would want you to write like a sentence, kind of like they did here, because I want to know your thinking. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Yes, yes? That would work. On a test, you would want to be more specific about which one's on which axis, but that would work for your homework. Layla? Yep, so that's the same as Addie's. For your homework, that works, but I would want you to tell me which axis they're on, the points, okay? Yes, Will? Ordered pair? Okay, okay. Chanel? Yeah, that would work. Yes, Jack. Well, we're on number 20. Yep, number 24 was a little tricky. Rich, oh. Yeah. Richie. I don't know if this is a good design, but what did it look like? 0, 7 into the x-axis, 0 is x-axis, and then 7 is the y-axis. Yes. That works for your homework, but on a test, I'd want you to tell me, okay, what does that tell us about the points? Where are the points going to be on the coordinate grid? So for your homework, it works. On a test, they're asking you about that pair, so where is that coordinate going to be? Will. Okay. Yeah, that works. All right. Are we ready to move on to 24? Okay. So number 24 said Jeremy wants to visit the duck pond. Which is a correct description of how to find the ordered pair for the duck pond. So basically, they would tell you where to start and how many units to go along the x-axis or y-axis or left or right or up or down. So the correct answer is C because it says from 0, 0. So from the origin, remember we call 0, 0 the origin, go 2 units along the x-axis. So 1, 2, go 4 units up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Write 2, 4. That is what you would write. Now, for, let's see, A, it said start at 0, 0, go 4 units along the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go 2 units up, 1, 2, write 4, 2. Well, that's bird-like. That's not where we want to go. B said from 0, 2. So we would go 0 and then 1, 2. Go 2 units along the y-axis, 1, 2. Go 2 units right, 1, 2. Right, 2, 2. Is 2, 2 the right coordinate for this? No. So that is why B is incorrect. Then D said 0, 0, start there, go 2 units along the y-axis, 1, 2, go 4 units right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, that's at Bird Lake. Questions on this one? So this one was a little tricky. I know some people marked B, but you want to make sure that coordinate they're telling you to write is correct. Yes, Mackenzie? I wrote B and C because I knew only one answer. I knew there was one answer, but when I did the go to 0, 2 and then up to across 2, I found it landed on that time. It did, but they tell you what to write for the coordinates of it. And the coordinates are wrong on B. They tell you to write 2-2. Now, if we actually go to 2-2, that's Bird Trail. Duck Pond is 2-4. That's what made B incorrect. The directions were correct. It was the last part, writing the coordinates, that was incorrect. Yeah. Yep. Will?
You don't really need to think a lot of effort because if you just find out where the coordinates for Duck Pond is, you can just see where right like where it says right.
Yeah, I suppose so. Can you correct and I don't know. Yes. All right, Chanel. Yes, there's 22. How do we feel about 24, 5th grade? And if you got B, that's okay. That one was tricky. They had the right directions and then they told you the wrong coordinates. How do you feel about 24? How do we feel about 24? Okay. Okay. Nice job. All right. Chanel, are you done with 22? Awesome. Do we need to look at anything else? All right. I want you, nice job with correcting homework, open up to the next clean page in your math